All right, so I got it rolling now, so I guess we should probably get this thing started, Matt.
We are rolling, ladies and gentlemen.
We're rolling. Welcome,
How
everybody.
you doing, buddy?
It's xRadiox. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's been a little over a week since last time we recorded because, as I put it, I won't use the expletives, but because of my stupid work schedule, I had to do the job that gets me paid so I can do the hobby that costs me money.
Totally. And do you notice, and maybe it's just me, but do you notice that for like everybody else that you talk to, they probably feel like you're recording all the time, but for me, it feels like a month has passed.
Yes. Because I'm going to speak on your behalf.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when you're talkers and you have lots of thoughts and sometimes very, very specific feelings about things.
Yeah.
Like I can go through 3 or 4 episodes in my head a day that never get recorded, never get talked about. And I do the whole thing in my head. And So last time we recorded, we talked about X, which I've forgotten most of it by now.
Yeah.
And now we're going to this one. But in between then and now, I've had like 12 episodes already just in my head.
It feels like it. And I have started to write things down. Folks, if you're listening, we are attempting to be, I guess, thoughtful, somewhat organized.
Professional.
Here and there, we have glimmers of professionalism. And so I have actually started writing things down. Like this would be a good segment and maybe we can do this and we're starting to line things up, which feels really cool. We have some special things in store in the next few weeks.
We have some things coming up and I feel like it's okay if we talk about them because at least one of them two of them will happen.
Yeah.
We're going to start doing one of our goals that we decided through our many, many texts we send each other is since we call ourselves xRadiox and we met working at Radio X in Marquette.
Yep.
We wanted to do our best to talk to a lot of people that we used to work with at Radio X because it was such a big and for me, and I feel like for you too, was a pretty important time in my life.
Yep.
It kind of formed a lot of things that were to come for me. Even though I'm not in professional radio anymore, I still am in professional media of sorts, just not doing anything that I thought I was going to be doing. Like opposite what I thought I was going to be doing is what I now professionally do. It's weird.
It led you on your path.
Yeah. So this is, and this for, at least for me, I kind of joked to you in some texts we were going with back and forth. I says, my other buddies around here are in bands. They are doing the bar band thing, or at least before COVID, they were doing the bar band thing and writing new music. And we're all, we're garage band people in our late teens. And then we grew up and now we have a little bit of money and time because our kids are all a little bit older. So a lot of them started bands again and are playing locally and recording music, and it's really cool. But I'm not in a band. You're not in a band.
No.
So we're going to do a podcast. And to me, this is like our 40-year-old return to the band.
Yes, exactly. We're getting the band back together. So as a result, we have started putting together a short list of people we want to have on the podcast, have them chat with us about their shared experiences and maybe that some experiences they had that we didn't even know about. And the list that you've been putting together is super exciting. And I hope that, I think anyone listening will get something from what they have to say. But then I also hope that a lot of the people who used to listen back in the day will get something even more, from it.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Very exciting.
And like I was saying, I hope we get half the people that I wrote down on that list.
Yeah.
That would keep us going. That would keep this podcast arguably going well into next year.
Holy moly. Yeah. If we got half of that list, we would be golden. We wouldn't have to think of anything really.
Yeah. Which really will benefit everybody.
It's nice. The less work, the better. So coming up, I think next episode, we've got a friend of ours who went by the Doc of Rock at Radio X.
Yep.
And he's very excited. So I know that makes us very excited. I haven't talked to him in a while. He and I text back and forth a little bit, but that's going to be exciting. And then we have a former GM from the radio station that we're going to talk to a few weeks down the road. So that's also super exciting. And you came up with a great idea to have them think of songs that meant something to them or meant something to that time that they were at the X. And I think that that's going to be really cool to see if we have any similarities and if we have anything that's way, polar opposite from what they were thinking, because we were all there at the same time, but we had a wide range of musical tastes.
And it was such, if you keep listening, you'll come to find out it was such a mishmash of people who worked there. Like you think college radio and you think, oh, it's all the alternatines and the death metal guys and all of this type of stuff. But there was a lot of people that you would have never. You'd be like, you work at a college radio station,
right?
No way,
right?
There was plenty of people you'd look at and go, just assume they wouldn't do something like that. But yeah, we had them. There was all walks there. It was, and that's what made it cool, especially for the area that we were in.
It's very exciting.
That's a different story for a different time. Just know that we're putting together a list of people. So if any of you old Xers come across this before we call you, you're probably on the list. So
yeah, and if not, let us know. You can be on the list if you're listening and you used to work there. We would love to chat with you on the podcast because if we just haven't thought of your name yet, it's going to come up. And so feel free to raise your hand because that would be super exciting.
Yeah, and it's not just relegated to people that worked during the time that we were there.
No, not at all.
We're interested in talking to anybody who worked there. From the time it was WBKX to the time it was WUPX,
right?
To now when it's mostly automated versus when we were there when there was people there 24 hours a day.
I have to say, I probably will have to do some mea culpa apologies for some of the people when we talk to them.
No mea culpas.
I do think that I insulted the station as a whole a little bit too much. But that's the new people. And it's not even the people. I think it's just easier. And people don't know that you can make it into something super cool. And maybe they're going to do that. That's my version of a semi not really apology.
It all depends on the group of people you get working there.
Yeah,
it really does.
Exactly.
You could have 5 cool people working there and they do their best that 5 people can do.
Right.
And then, like when we were there was, I don't even know how many people there were. I feel like there was at least 100. I'm sure there wasn't, but I feel like there was 100 people working there. There's probably more like 40, but I feel like there was 100. But it was a lot easier to do what we were doing when you had that many people pitching in.
Yeah.
Now there's so many options of things for you to do when you're in university that it might not be just the cool thing to do right now. And that's fine. That's how college radio is. It's not always supposed to be the cool thing. It's supposed to be the cool thing for you. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. That was kind of philosophical. We should move on before we get, too deep into talking about our old radio days, even though we want to,
it's going to happen.
Focused around that. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But before we get into the meat of what we were going to do, because like we kind of said, we were trying to be a little more organized. So we actually made an outline for tonight.
Yeah.
Or today.
I feel good about
for me as we're recording this. So
I feel good about this.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to work out. But before we get into that, I did have, it wasn't a request. It was a comment from one of our listeners.
Oh, good.
That I know who's listening to this and had texted me and said it would be a crying shame if we didn't mention David Bryan at least one more time.
Oh, so David Bryan has this luscious perm. It's just, it's fantastic. And I don't know the rest of his family, if they are all curly haired blondes or if it's not natural. I hope
is he a bottle blonde? We don't know.
I hope it's natural. Only his barber knows for sure. But if you have not Googled pictures of David Bryan at any era, any phase of his career, you're doing yourself a disservice. check him out. Check out the hair. It's sort of like a reined in party version of Kenny G,
Yeah, it was
but
like
blonde.
if you were a fan of the heavy metal band Megadeth in the 90s, their lead guitar player Marty Friedman had like the perfect curls. Like they were all very uniform and it was very big. Not like
Yes.
hair metal big, but it was just like a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Like he had the really tight version of that hair, and David Bryan had like the more looser, the kind of like the sport coat with the sleeves pushed up version of that type of curly hair.
Yes,
But
exactly.
they're both in the same vein, even though not the same style of
He
music.
could have been in Huey Lewis and the News, and it would have fit because it was more, like you said, it's a sport coat mullet, curly mullet. That's what it is. That's perfectly phrased.
So there
we
got
go.
in
We've said
our
David Bryan.
obligatory David Bryan story. It was actually mentioned that we should also talk about Tico Torres. I got nothing there tonight. We'll have to work on it.
Wasn't he in the Jackson 5?
No. I think that was just Tico. No, it was Tito Jackson.
Tito Jackson. That's what I was
not Tico Jackson.
Then I've got nothing.
That's probably what he would check into hotels as. Nobody will know if I write Tico Jackson versus Tito Jackson. They'll never get it.
Yeah. Sorry, Tico Torres. I don't know anything about you, and I don't have enough space in my brain to be interested.
No, but we'll work on it for our sub podcast called This Is Just Another Bon Jovi Podcast. So there. Now we covered that.
We're halfway there.
Yes. Oh boy. I'm not finishing that one. So moving on, you told me this week, and you didn't really lead into what this was going to be, but you told me that you had some questions you needed to ask me.
Okay, so I know that you are much more of a sporting sporter than I am. You are
very much into the sportsing.
You're interested in the sport, and I am not. Not for any. I'm not against the sporting of sporters sporting. I just don't know anything about it, and I know that I've told you, and I've told, I think, maybe the audience, that I sometimes work in a chain gang during the week, and amongst the chain gang, everyone to a man is talking about football all the time, football, and being an introvert.
Wait a second. You mean they're talking about football this time of year and not David Bryan?
Apparently there's some big game coming up, and different teams are fighting to be in that game. I know that much, but the problem is I don't know anything about it, and I, as an introvert, I try to find ways I can jump into a conversation, because otherwise I'm just a stick standing in the corner, and then I feel really, really lame. And I try to be more outgoing, and I try to engage with people. So anyway, I've realized
things like, I think their uniform is really cool. I think that green really goes with that silver. And
isn't it cool how their helmets are shiny?
Like,
yeah. So what they talk about is, they talk about the games, and they talk about the, some of the things that happen in the games. But a lot of times what they're talking about is literal. To me, it's like a different language, and they're talking about, like, this person has this percentage, and this person, they should have traded, and they use names of players as verbs, like that guy, Randy Jackson or whatever. And I know that's not a real player, but but they use it.
You're
like,
mixing up your football with American Idol. Got
it. I know. So
I decided, your show tunes, this is over.
I decided it would be a learning opportunity for me. And if there is anyone in the world who knows as much or less about sports than I do, it might be useful to all of us to glean a little bit of, sporting knowledge from you. So this is an opportunity for me to ask you some what will probably be easy sports questions, but to me, I'm just like, what's going on?
Well, I'm glad you came to me, since you brought up football, and I've never played organized football in my life. We'll see what I can do for you here.
You're the only person that wouldn't make fun of me, and that remains to be seen. You might, but still.
I when it comes to you and me in football, there's only one thing I can guarantee you right now.
Okay.
That I guarantee you and me and I want to say Jeff
Okay.
watched the Lions Steelers game on Thanksgiving when we were in college, and that's about the best I can do for you. And then
Wow.
we went and worked at the radio station because that's how we got down.
Right. Yeah. You have a really good memory. I don't recall that, but I think I kind of recall now that you mentioned it.
Ask me to pay my bills on time, and I don't have a memory. It doesn't serve me very well. But asked me if we watched a football game one time in probably 96, 97. I
Yeah.
got your back.
And you
I'm
got
all
it.
there for you.
Okay. So what I would like to do, if you're cool with this, is I'd like to ask you a few football related questions that would
Shoot. I
help
will do.
me in the chain gang kind of fit in and actually understand. If not, I may not actually engage with these facts, but I at least will understand and won't feel like they're speaking a different language.
So you're gonna ask me to help you, bro?
Yes, please help me.
Okay.
Help me, bro down. Is that a term? Bro down.
It is now. And if any of you out there know us, me helping you, bro, that's
I have limited resources.
That's a sight to be seen. If I'm your connection to Brosville, you're in trouble.
Okay,
but let's do it. Let's see what we got.
So the first question I have for you, it's a basic. How does the NFL draft work? Because people are talking about, getting this player and losing this player, and who I do know. I think at least in the NBA, I think this is the same. The people who lose get better draft picks or something, so it's kind of okay when you lose because you're going to get somebody good. But what happens in the NFL draft? Like, what, in a nutshell, how does that work?
So it's essentially the same thing. How the NFL draft works is pretty much what you said. Worst goes first. So if you're like the last place teams, so we'll just say, for instance, I live in the state of Michigan. I am begrudgingly a fan of the Detroit Lions.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you already, but by the way, somebody on my chain gang I was commenting how in the UP everyone's a Packers fan. And he said he thought about it for a second and he was like, well, I mean, I guess that's because Michigan doesn't have a team. And I was like, in my head, I thought, wait, I know I don't follow football, but did the Lions get fired from the NFL? Are they not a thing anymore? So I said, and I didn't want to ask because I didn't want to be an idiot. So I was like, yeah, I mean, the Lions. And then I rolled my eyes. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. He totally forgot about the Lions.
That's understandable. It really is. And unfortunately, they're all they make millions of dollars sucking.
That's true.
We do it for free.
Yeah, that's true.
So the draft in the NFL, it's essentially the same as all the other sports.
Yeah.
Like if you're the worst team, you get the first pick. Mm-hmm. It's like, I want to say it's the first 1 through 20 are the teams that didn't make the playoffs. So like you're terrible up to the team who just all missed the playoffs. So that's from 1 to 20.
And are the Lions always getting the first round draft pick?
I don't think we've ever been lower than 10. We're that good, folks.
All right.
I think we made the playoffs a couple times, so we might have had the 20th. But then you can in the draft, you can trade to move up or move down. Say you have a stacked team, say you're the Patriots for the past decade.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You've always had a stacked team. So you can trade your high, if you had a high draft pick to get lower draft picks or move around. And I mean, I'm sure there's a much better science to the draft than what I'm telling you, but that's essentially how it works. And so once you get past the 20th pick and there's 7 rounds, I think it's 7 rounds is how many they have, 7 or 8 rounds. So in the first round, it's 1 through 20 is the worst to the 20th worst team.
Gotcha.
Can you imagine being that? We're not the worst. We're just the 20th worst team. That's almost worse than being the worst, because who the hell knows who that team is?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
It's we're in the middle. We're 8-8 every year. We win some games, we lose some games.
But
We
you don't
go
get
home.
anything. You don't get any
Yeah.
good players, but you don't get any championships. So you're just
So
nothing.
yeah, so they're always in this weird spot of trying to jockey to get maybe some good free agents during the trade, that period of time, which don't even ask me about that. I'm still confused how free agents versus the trade deadline,
Okay.
it's like all a mystery to me. But so once you get to like the 21st pick, it's like then they go by how you did in the playoffs. So the
Oh,
teams that were out first in the playoffs are the lowest in that rungs then, and then so on and so forth. And then the team who wins the Super Bowl would be the last pick of the first round.
gotcha.
Now
And then the
that's if
person
nobody
who's
trades or nobody moves around or anything like that. That's how it's set up.
okay. All right. Well, I have already learned something, so we're on a roll here. So then the other thing I want to ask you, and this is a more specific question. I was walking with a couple of the chain gang, and they had mentioned that there was a quarterback, and I think they were talking about the Eagles, but I'm not sure. Had like a 20 something QB rating, and I'm gonna just take a wild guess and assume that means quarterback. But
Yes.
what makes a QB rating? And is 20 good? Is 20 bad? Is it like a 1 to 100 scale, or is it a 1 to 20 scale?
All right. Yeah, we're really pushing my knowledge here. I know a 20 is not good
Mm.
because it goes from like 0 to like 150.
Oh, wow.
Like there's a big mathematical equation in there and how you
Yeah,
do a you would think it would be 0 to 100 because 100% is the best you could do on a
you would
test.
think. Yeah.
0, but it does go past 100. It's like it's like between 150 and 160, I think, is like your top quarterback rating that you can get.
Okay.
And it has to do with a few different variables. There's probably more than what I'm going to say, but I want to say there's like it's 3, 4, or 5, but I know for certain that it's pass attempts versus completions versus yards and touchdowns. Like
Oh,
and I want to say interceptions are in there too. Like you put all those together, you
and that
put them
gives
in
you
the
a number.
pot, mix it around, pull it out, and that's how you get it. But if there's a mathematical equation how you figure that out, I
Okay.
could not tell you how that works, but I
Well, I
know
didn't expect you
that
to,
all
but
those are
you at
in
least
there.
understand what it means.
Yeah.
So you're
So,
one ahead of me.
you want of course, a high quarterback rating, but having a high quarterback rating doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a good team,
Uh,
or that even because, if you're a smart quarterback, there's ways to pad that. Like if you're doing pass attempts versus completions, you could just throw a ton of short yardage passes. It's not going to get you a
sure.
whole lot,
Yeah.
but it gives you a high percentage, and you're going to
Okay.
have less interceptions and your passing yards will be okay. You
Uh-huh.
might not have a bunch of TDs, but you're going to have a pretty high rating. That doesn't necessarily mean you're good.
Right.
It means you're smart
You're
and you're playing.
statistically good.
Yeah, a lot of people who judge these things, they call that a not a system quarterback. It's a game manager. They say
Oh,
quarterbacks who do that, they're called game managers. They don't do anything to put the team in peril, but they're really not pushing to do really good either.
so they're
So
boring.
you're kind of middling. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. All right.
There's
So that's
there's some
Philadelphia's quarterback, I'm
I
assuming.
think I think this year Philadelphia's quarterback was in a 0 to 20 somewhere. Didn't have a
Oh,
good year. Wasn't a
wow.
good quarterback,
All right. Well, that's
which
why
is
they're
unfortunate because I think they invested a bunch of money in that guy.
uh I almost want to say that I know information about that, but I don't remember. I know that
I
the
think their
fellas
quarterback
talked
is
about it.
Carson Wentz. I think that's Carson Wentz is the Philadelphia Eagles
Could
quarterback
be.
and one of my coworkers actually works for the Eagles in another profession. Like
Oh,
he's a part-timer with them as part of their media crew. And we've kind of talked about things here and there. And I want to say they're not happy with Carson Wentz this year. It's a bad scene.
all right. Well, I'll file that away because that might be something I can toss out. Like
Yeah, you can be just like, oh, Carson Wentz, he's
Carson Wentz,
yeah, you might as well
moron.
play for the Lions, right? Am I right? Huh? Yeah.
Talk about a QB rating, fellas,
Yeah.
huh?
What did he win? Like 4 touchdowns? Let's go.
This is going to be great. Okay. So because I'm in Pennsylvania, um, a lot of the people in my area are Eagles fans, and some are Steelers fans, but it's where I am specifically, it's mostly Eagles fans. Um, as we've talked about, obviously people don't realize that Detroit has a team, but are there other teams that I should not mention? Like, are there rivals that are universally hated or universally loved or regionally hated or loved that I can like use as like, I feel like if I had a nugget where I could say, well, at least they're not the bleh, then that would be something.
Okay, I think it's safe to say, as long as you can say at least they're not the Lions, and then you're going to do just fine, since that guy didn't even remember that Detroit
Yep,
had a team.
that's true.
But in the world of now, I'm not from Philadelphia,
Right.
not from Pennsylvania either. I'm in Michigan.
Yep.
And I'm a Michigan sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
Go Spartans, go Lions, go Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings. You name the Michigan. I follow Michigan sports. I'm a homer, as they would say.
All right.
Seriously, that's what it. When
That's what
you
they
just
call
pick
it.
your team, you're a homer.
Fair enough.
And so you being in an area where it's a lot of Philadelphia fans, the teams you definitely don't want to like
Yeah.
or say good things about
Mm-hmm.
are the New York Giants.
Okay.
Like Philadelphia Eagles and Giants fans, I think there's literal hate between many of them.
Okay, good to know.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but from things I've read and people I know from the greater Philadelphia area,
Yeah.
you don't like the Giants.
Excellent.
Bad news. You also do not like the Washington Football Club.
The Washington Football Club? What the hell is
that? Formerly known as the Redskins.
Oh, is that what they're called?
That's what they used to be called, but they got rid of that because whether people want to admit it or not, it's kind of a racist name.
Right. Yes. Okay. So you're just calling them that because it's as a placeholder because they don't have a name.
They're literally called the Washington Football Club now. That's their name because they haven't come up with a mascot yet.
How hard is it? Pick an animal and a color or something.
They're in Washington. What should they be called? Matthew, come on. They should be called the Monuments, the Washington Monuments.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, see, this is easy. Just call me Washington. We'll get this figured out.
I like the Washington Monuments. Does that seem too stagnant, though? Like we sit still and stare off into space?
Well, okay. I'm sure you could make that joke. But think about the merchandising, though. We're the Washington Monuments. You could have the Jefferson Memorial on there. You could have the Washington Monument. Which, side note, if you've ever been in D.C. at night, when they have red lights up on top of it.
No, I haven't, but I've watched a lot of West Wing.
Well, good. Then you're an expert.
Yeah.
So good. But when you go there at night and you look at the Washington Monument in the night sky and you can see like the silhouette and it goes up to a point, and on each side there are two blinking red lights. It looks like a Klan hood.
Oh.
Go there, look at it, and tell me I'm wrong.
Well, that's not a good thing.
No, I agree, but it looks like it. It does.
The Washington Monuments.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there is. Like I said, Dan Snyder, Washington football team, club, whatever you're called now, give me a call. We'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
I won't even charge you like hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe just $1 million.
$1 million. That should be sufficient.
Yeah. So we can do this. Give me a call, Dan Snyder. He owns the Washington Football Club, by the way, if you didn't figure that part out. Dan Snyder's the owner. So back to who you're not supposed to like as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, since we're focusing
Giants.
on football.
I hate them.
The Giants, the Washington Football Club, you hate them too. And the Dallas Cowboys.
They can't figure out. Oh, and the Dallas Cowboys. Really?
Yes.
Aren't they America's team?
No. See, that's why everybody hates them.
Oh, right. Okay.
Except for Cowboys fans who love them, but that's a different story.
So who decided to call them America's team? They just did.
That was a marketing thing I think they did in the late 70s, and they were America's team. And
so like if I just opened up a hot dog stand and it said the world's best hot dogs, it wouldn't really be. No. I would just be claiming that I am.
It's not literal. It's like in the movie Elf.
Yeah.
Where he goes to the diner and he's like, congratulations. Exactly. And the owner looks at him like, what are you talking about? He's like, on having the world's greatest coffee.
Yes. Okay.
And the guy just looks at him like, what are you, an alien?
Yes. Now I get it. So they just decided to call themselves that, and nobody, but some people, I mean, they're fairly well liked in certain.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all in football rivalries and stuff. And I was trying to explain to my kids tonight. We were talking about shoot, what were we talking? No, it wasn't tonight. This came up during since, like I said, I'm in Michigan. This
Yeah.
came up during Michigan State week.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Michigan plays Michigan State, I'm a Spartans fan. Go green. Go green, screw the Wolverines, even though I really don't hate the Wolverines. Just when they play each other, I hate them.
Okay.
And they're like, well, why do you not like that team versus this team? And I said, because I like this team.
Sure.
And they're like, yeah, but why? Why is it? I says, well, in the world of liking things in sports, it's not about facts or logic. It's about who I like and why do you like them. A lot of it doesn't have anything to do with reality. It has to do with, this is where I grew up. This is who probably my parents liked or who my family followed.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's who I end up liking.
Okay. Yeah. So
It's
like you're a
nurture
Beatles
versus
fan or a
nature.
Stones fan. You're like, you can't be both. If you like the Beatles more, you have to kind of not like the Stones, or vice versa.
Matt, that's a whole different conversation. But yes.
But similar.
Yes.
It's similar.
It's similar. It's like when they talk about who the world's greatest rock and roll band, and everybody's like, oh, it's the Beatles. And I'm like, no. If you want to talk about the original world's greatest rock and roll band, it's the Stones. They're a rock and roll band. The Beatles are a great band. Don't get me wrong. They deserve as much acknowledgement as the Rolling Stones. But the Rolling Stones built the blueprint for being a rock and roll band. They're all bad boys. They did the crazy rock and roll stuff, and they got famous for it.
I want to start this debate, but I'm not going to.
I know. See, it's one of those. This is sports rivalry in a nutshell, right there. You can never. There's no fact behind it. There's no definitive answer behind it. But the fan of each team will tell you there's a definitive answer, and they'll have 100 reasons why they're right. But the reasons don't matter.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day,
right.
It's guys throwing footballs around or playing guitars.
Right.
Even though being more into music, I'm going to say playing guitars is more meaningful.
I wonder what Mick Jagger's QB rating would be.
Skinny dude like him, probably like a 20. But he
has the same QB rating as an active current NFL quarterback.
Yeah. Yep. You heard it here. That's what Jayce says. So where were we? We were talking about teams you're not supposed to like. I think I covered it. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good baseline of teams that I shouldn't mention or root for.
And I hate to leave them out in the state of Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. There's also the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have won, I want to say 6 Super Bowls, something like that. I think the Eagles have won 1. Oh, and that happened like 2 years ago. The Steelers are like, that's cool. You guys can be Eagles fans. We're just going to go over here and win another Super Bowl. Something like that.
Hold my beer.
Yeah. Hold my beer. I'm going to show you how to play the footballs. And here we go. Even though they lost in the playoffs this year to the Browns, which I believe are the Steelers' rivals. See, it gets very complicated. There's a very woven tapestry of who to like and not to like and why and when. And it's generational too. So, I mean, we could go real deep into this.
Well, the good news is
we're going to leave it right here.
The good news is I know that I have to root for the Packers. I am maritally obligated to root for the Packers to make it at least to the Super Bowl. I have no say in the matter. I mean, it's a family requirement because I am, a transplant youper or whatever you want to call it.
A troll.
And everybody knows that Upper Michigan is supposed to be Wisconsin. So everyone up there are Packer fans.
They were bought fair and square.
Yes.
If that gets out, I'll never be allowed to go to the UP again. But
So because I have Packer fan in the family, and because I really have no dog in this race at all, I'm just going to root for the Packers. Hopefully they go all the way to the Super Bowl.
I will say this about the Packers. Before I moved to the Upper Peninsula to go to school, I liked the Packers. I did. I didn't mind them at all.
Before
and then I moved to the UP, and they were just so belligerently Packers fans.
Yeah, they
It was
just
just
crushed your
Packers. It
spirit.
was just Packers, and I'm like, you live in Michigan, you know that, right? And they're
Right.
like, oh, but
No,
we're geographically closer to
right.
Green Bay. I'm like, I don't care. You live in
Ridiculous
Michigan. You're a
logic.
Lions fan.
Yeah.
This is how it works. See, see, sports fans in my head, geographically, I was born and raised in Michigan. Therefore, I like the Lions more than I like the Packers.
Mhm.
But then I got to the UP and everybody's like Packers, 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 Packers.
They really
And I
are.
was just
If you've
like,
never been to the UP, they actually
that's
do. Some people walk around saying it just like that.
like, you'll be like, hey, how's it going? They're like, Packers, Packers,
Packers,
Packers,
Packers,
Packers. You're like,
Packers,
whoa,
Packers.
chill. So did you realize that I was being nice and saying hello and the Packers, Packers, Packers. All right. I just want to pay for my bread at
True
the
story.
Econo and go. Packers, 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 Packers. What is my change? Packers, 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 Packers. I love the Lions. Then they stop and have to give you, but
Yes. Legitimately,
yes.
that's a good reason to rip on you, though. I mean,
So that was where my initial hatred of the Packers started to come from.
I
Then
get
I
it.
moved away from the UP and they drafted now I can't remember their quarterback's name, and I like him, and he's a good quarterback. Aaron Rodgers. They drafted Aaron Rodgers in the mid 2000s, and I was like, that's a good draft. That was a good draft pick.
Yeah.
And he succeeded with after Brett Favre moved on, who I did not like.
Mhm.
I did not like Brett Favre
At all? You didn't? Did you like
no,
his TV
nope,
commercials?
no.
Okay.
He was bad at football. He was bad at dick pics. It was the whole thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He was
See,
he was sort of funny in There's Something About Mary.
was he in that?
He was the punchline to the very end of the movie, and I'm going to tell it wrong, so I'm going to ruin the joke. Spoiler alert to a 30-year-old movie, but
Yeah, you don't have to say spoiler alert.
at
The
the
statute of
end
limitations
at
is
the
passed.
end there was like an ex-boyfriend, Brett, that Cameron Diaz was dating.
Oh, and
he
it was
showed up to
now
sweep
I
her back off
remember.
her feet, and it was Brett Favre, and Ben Stiller called him Brett Favre, and it was just like a one-off sort of cameo to say, "Oh, that's Brett. It's, championship football quarterback Brett Favre."
Yeah.
And that
I
was
have
it.
to take my moment in time and be in a movie now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But no, I was never a Brett Favre fan. I was they just they just loved him, and I just didn't. And then they got Aaron Rodgers, and I actually like Aaron Rodgers. He can be kind of abrasive and a prick too in interviews, but I like him. I don't know. He's good. He's kind of understated. He's not always out there being flashy. He's just one of those guys that goes out and he plays and he does really well. And literally other players on the team will probably tell you otherwise if you know to talk to any of them. But the Packers kind of live and die by how good Aaron Rodgers is. And because they're not a big market team, so they don't draw tons of people. So they have 3 good guys and then a bunch of average to above average guys, and they kind of rise to the occasion. And I think that's a lot of the reason a lot of people like the Packers, because they're small market. They're not, New York, LA, Philly, big city. It's Green Bay, Wisconsin, which isn't even in the top 25 of large cities in the United States, I don't think. And they have this super competitive football team, and everybody around there just lives and dies by that team, which in that respect is very cool. But being that I just got Packers shoved in my face when I moved to the UP, I was like, nope, I'm out.
So it's like living in the UP with Packer fans is sort of like you can like a thunderstorm, but when you're in a thunderstorm, it's dangerous and scary and annoying. And then when you can look at it from far away, you're like, oh, it's really pretty.
To give you a perfect Packers fan story here.
Yeah.
There's other reasons I don't like the Packers too, and maybe we'll get into those. But here's a great story to epitomize folks from the UP and their love of the Packers.
Okay.
So I moved in up at Northern. I lived in Gant Hall, first floor, in Brule House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other house that was next to us, I don't remember what their original name was, but they changed their name to Soundgarden.
What?
And so, yeah, that's not the point. We'll get to that some other time.
Right along. Yes.
So I was trying to make friends up there because I didn't know anybody really. I knew my roommate, and that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, met this guy in a class. We started talking. He's like, "Oh, I live in so." I was like, "Hey, all right." So we were walking back to the dorms together, chatting, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you, why don't you come over? We're gonna have some beers later." And I was like, "Yeah, beers, all right, I'm in."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is back when you had phone numbers, and when you lived on campus, you only had to dial the last 4 digits.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So he's like, "Phone number's Edgar Bennett, Edgar Bennett." And I'm like, "What?"
What?
He's like, "Yeah, Edgar Bennett, Edgar Bennett." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I think this guy's high. I'm not sure, but maybe he's high. It's a little early in the day, but I don't know. It's college.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I want to say Edgar Bennett was the running back for the Packers at the time. And
Oh,
his jersey number was 34, I think,
jeez.
or 36 or 32. But the point of the story
34,
is,
34.
yeah, his number was 3434.
Come
So he's like, Edgar Bennett, Edgar Bennett. And I was like,
on. I would
I'm
have
probably
thought,
gonna
like, is that like military code, like Whiskey Tango Edgar Bennett?
in my head, I'm like, I'm definitely graduating before this guy.
And you did.
And I can't even remember his name, but I remember that story. And I went over there and I hung out a couple times, and they were nice. Don't get me wrong; they were nice folks. But you always can tell when you're that outsider coming
Yep,
into a group. Like, they
absolutely.
all knew each other, they all grew up around each other, and I was like this weird guy from downstate. And
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, we kind of got to be nice to him. He's the guy from downstate. Here, have a beer." Not too many though, because these are ours, but here, have a beer. We feel like we should be
Taste
nice.
it. Yeah.
So we
Wow.
hung out a couple times, and then it was just became like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And everybody moved on. There was nothing mean happened, but it was just, yeah, it was Edgar Bennett, Edgar Bennett. And I'm like, for real,
Wow.
this is what I'm dealing with here.
And he
Oh
just
boy.
assumed you would know. He was
Yeah,
like,
that was the best
it
part,
was
is he assumed
easier
I would
for
know.
me to say Edgar Bennett than it was to say 34, 34. Like, it
Yeah,
was, the language was more universal to tell you the name of some rando Packer player than
like
to
that
just say
inside joke.
3434.
Yeah. Like, him and his direct group of friends knew exactly what that meant.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that was a
for sure.
great inside joke to them. And they'd be like, Edgar Bennett, Edgar Bennett. And I'm like, I don't know.
It was probably a test to see how cool you were.
Yeah, I wasn't cool. We haven't figured that out yet. Wasn't
You
happening.
failed it.
So I
Uh,
don't even remember what question I was answering at that point,
I
but I
feel
think
like
I answered it and then went off into oh, and one more reason why I don't like the Packers.
yeah.
My ex-wife is a huge Packers fan.
Oh, womp
It's
womp.
Yeah. And we're divorced now.
Right.
Not because of that, but she's a big Packers
Wouldn't it be
fan.
wouldn't it be funny if that's why?
Yeah, you go to the courthouse and it's like, "So, you folks wanna get divorced? Irreconcilable difference? No. Financial problems? No. She's a Packers fan. Oh, sir, we understand. Click, here you go, you're divorced."
Every
That
time
was
I
it.
asked her what time it was, she said, "Edgar Bennett, Edgar Bennett."
And I'm like, "That's not even a time." But see, just to
Oh,
prove that I'm not a total jerk, I did buy her an Aaron Rodgers action figure for her birthday once. Yeah,
wow.
I know, ladies, and you'll wonder why we're divorced.
Action figures. Awesome.
Yeah, you bought your wife a football, or your ex-wife, a football action figure.
She probably loved it.
Good move. Good move, dude.
Well, I think that I have enough ammunition now. I think you've been so helpful because I was previously a little lamb lost in the woods amongst the dude bros that know everything about sports. And now I feel like I at least can understand some of the keywords they're saying and some of the stuff that they talk about. I don't know that I'll participate, but I at least won't think that they're speaking in some sort of code to make fun of me.
Yeah,
So that's good.
so if I helped you bro down, you're welcome.
You did. Thank you. This
And
was
if
really
it
good.
doesn't work, you're still welcome, because I don't know if you really, at our age, broing down doesn't really mean that much anymore.
Yeah, but when you're on a chain gang, it's a little different. Like when you're, building a
Well,
railroad or whatever you
the
might be
fact that
doing.
you're on on a chain gang, actually broing down might be a very, very important thing. I could be completely wrong. I'm just a corporate,
Yes. You
person
have to,
these days.
when you are chained to the person on either side of you, you have to be able to speak the language. So thank
Yeah.
you very
Well,
much.
I think it's funny now too that, when you're not a chain gang guy, you're also a corporate guy. Let's be honest
Yes.
with the
Yep.
listeners.
Absolutely.
I
Normally I
just
am.
think I just think it's kind of funny that we met at a college radio station where everything is about not being corporate as
Right.
much as you can. Free
Yeah.
thing, do what you want. We're not going to play the corporate music, even though we played plenty of it.
Right.
And down with the man, blah blah blah. Those guys are all our idols. Hate suit and tie guy, never going to be that. And then I
That's
decided, man, I really want to buy a house. Suit and tie guy, it is.
Hand me that tie.
Yeah. So is it
Yeah.
the equivalent of how much the tie chokes me is how much you're going to pay me? Choke away. Turn me blue. Let's see what we can do.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. We're going to make tens of dollars with this spice. Tens of dollars. All right. So I hopefully have helped you learn to bro down in the world of talking about football.
Yeah, we did for sure.
We'll be moving on to the next season. And actually, what I'm a much bigger fan of is coming up. My son keeps sending me countdowns for it. And I want to say last I knew it was 50. No, it's got to be less than 50 days because it's next month.
Yeah.
But is the Daytona 500 and the beginning of NASCAR season.
I know that they drive around in a circle and the first person who crosses the finish line first is the winner.
Oh, there's so much more now. NASCAR has figured out.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Not at all. That is the basis of the sport is go fast, turn left, finish first. That's when you boil it down, that's what you're there to do. But they've added dirt tracks.
Oh,
they've added what they call, and they had this the past couple seasons, but they've added what they call a roval, which is half road course, half oval. So it gives a little additional stuff to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for like the 200-mile-an-hour figure eight race. Now you're going to see some shit, man.
Yes. Yes. Like one of those Hot Wheels tracks where they just miss by inches. Yeah. That would be cool. Except for all the people. That part wouldn't be cool.
That would not be cool, but the crashes would be excellent.
Yeah.
So when we move into the next sports season, we can work on your NASCAR knowledge.
Awesome. Well, right now the Dude Bros are getting really into that AHL hockey is coming back. It's starting soon.
Oh, we are too. It's OHL though here in Michigan, the Ontario Hockey League. We're Saginaw Spirit all the way.
Okay, so for us, Hershey Bears, from what I understand, they're the winningest AHL team. Meaning, I'm pretty sure they've won the most championships.
That's a safe thing to say if they're the winningest team.
Yeah, and that's all I know. I know that they're. I was over at their stadium, and it's getting all geared up. The ice looks beautiful. They would not let me drive the Zamboni.
Nope.
I think you have to.
I know somebody who drives. Well, I don't know them. A lady I work with, her husband drives the Zamboni at one of the local rinks. And I'm like, that's
relaxing
awesome.
Life.
Yeah. I'm like, that's awesome. She's like, they don't pay him jack. And I was like, that sucks, but it's still awesome.
Yeah. I mean, just such a, it's like,
everybody
it's like having a job. Your only job is frosting the top of a cake. That's just all you have to do.
Everybody's happy to see you. They sing songs about you.
Right.
They like auction off rides. Little kids get to ride the Zamboni with you. Nobody gets mad at the Zamboni guy or woman. I'm sure there's many women who drive Zambonis. It's not just a male job anymore, folks.
Not anymore. Not since the trials.
Yeah, since the great Zamboni trials of the 70s, where women fought for their right to drive Zambonis.
I'm glad they stood up for it because they can drive it as well as any man.
Yeah, they can. And you know how they won, right? How they got the right to drive the Zamboni.
No.
During the great Zamboni wars of the 70s, it's the Zamboni drivers just were really drunk and passed out. So they just took it from them.
Good.
Yeah.
Smart. That's really smart. Yeah.
That's fighting with your brains, not just your brawn.
I agree.
Yeah, we're gonna get
So
comments about that.
once again, here's how you can find us if you want to send us a message. We're still trying to be everywhere all the time, and so that's something a good point to mention. If you have heard something you find is funny, or you have even if you have a correction or something you want to add for a future podcast, you can reach out to us in a variety, a plethora, a multitude, if you will, of ways.
There are
First
many
off,
ways to
you can
write at us
send
on
us
the internet.
you can send us a Telegram.
If you can find us, good luck. Just write it to
Also,
Jayce, State of Michigan. They'll find me.
Also, you can find us on the old Twitter. We are at xRadiox at Twitter, and that would be cool to see some tweets. Doesn't sound right. It feels like you should hear tweets, but to see some tweets from people who are listeners. We've had some listeners from overseas, which is really exciting. I hope that they're not trying
It's Russian bots, but we'll take it.
One of them I don't think was. One of them I think is a true French person who wants some good old-fashioned American jibba jabba.
Well, they get plenty of that here. I even, yeah.
That's what I think. And yes, there was somebody in Moscow, which is probably not real. But to anyone who is listening and who wants to participate in the process, feel free to reach out to us via Twitter. We've got our website we're working on, so that's going to be rolling. You got we have Instagram, right?
We do have an Instagram page. We also have a Facebook page, except Facebook was being a real bitch the other day and wouldn't let me name it xRadiox. So it's Jayce the Ace right now until I can figure out how to trick it into naming it what I want.
I love it.
So if you can find Jayce the Ace on Facebook, that's the xRadiox page.
And the nice thing is that's a really good place to connect with some of the former DJs. So that's a good way to get.
We're gonna. I'll let everybody know what we're doing, and I'll kind of tell you at the same time. I'm going to connect it to the pages. I'm going to send invites to the people I know who are on Facebook, and I know a lot of the xRadiox DJs that we worked with. I'm friends with a lot of them on Facebook, so I'm going to send this to them and see if I can get them to like or friend us digitally.
And they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends.
My favorite part, though, so far about the Facebook page I built for us, we really sound like old people when we talk like this. My kids told me we're borderline cringy. I said, well, then we're succeeding.
Success.
I said, we're over 40. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Everything I do for you is cringy now. I go to the grocery store, buy you food. It's cringy, whatever. But my favorite part went on there because, if you're familiar with Facebook, which I'm sure everybody is, they have like 2 billion users.
I prefer
you can put relationship status on it. So I put our relationship status, Matt, is it's complicated. It's 1996.
Perfect.
I figure that sums it up.
Yeah, I think so. That's great. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are not on TikTok, nor will we be, because
you don't know that.
Do you know how to dance?
No, but I think that would be the point, right? Is it would be terrible and everybody would laugh at us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. We will dance on TikTok for you.
I had my kids cringing once again, saying being on the TikToks. Actually, Amy and I were sitting at the kitchen table and we were just letting it rip about, the TikToks. You know the TikToks, like how, people say things like that.
Right.
And they're like, it's just TikTok, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know about the TikToks with the dances and all of the stuff on it. And they're like, it's just TikTok, Dad. And I'm like, I know what the TikTok is. They're like, no, it's not the TikTok.
The rockin' and the rollin' and whatnot.
So part of the fun is just driving them nuts with, being old.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
But on Instagram, or the gram, as they say, I think somebody says that, is xRadiox_podcast. That's how you can. I'll put some memes on there, like Bernie Sanders memes. Oh, the election or the swearing in was just the other day. But really, I mean, whether you were for or against how the election came out, you got to admit We're here for the memes.
So it was his mittens, right? That's what people were going crazy about. He had like really big mittens. I
Oh, dude,
listened
it
to
was
it on the
just
radio.
it was the whole thing. It was the whole thing. It was like way he was sitting, and then they photoshopped it out, and they just like put him everywhere. Like my sister sent one where they photoshopped him. I'll text this to you.
Okay,
I'll send
cool.
it to you. That he's in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon with Luke, Chewie, and Han.
Awesome.
And there's another one where the Statler and Waldorf from the
Oh,
Muppets. He's one of
that's
those too.
like that. Oh, that's great.
Then there's just all kinds of good ones out there. There's one, if you're a fan of 80s metal stars, Anthrax, they had an
Sure.
album called Among the Living, which is like this crowd of people and then like one person in the middle that you can see. So they took the person out and they just put Bernie in the middle of it. I mean, it's everywhere. They're just going meme crazy with it, and
Oh,
it's fantastic. It took
that's
up
really
half
good.
the day at work talking about it.
That's really good. I'm glad he's got some meme stuff happening.
So we covered we covered the questions you wanted to ask me.
I'm good with sports. Yeah. I'm expert
Yeah,
now.
the sports questions. We kind of talked about being cringy old people. Didn't see that coming, but I have a feeling that'll be a running thing for us.
Yep. We mentioned David Bryan.
We mentioned David Bryan, so check. There was one looking at our list, our outline as it is.
Yeah.
Come on, computer, work.
Oh, you know what? I have it. We were going to talk about stuff we're listening to right now.
Yeah, that was okay. That was it. Couldn't get the computer to scroll. I'm like, come on.
Do you want first, or you want me to go first?
You can go first, and I will grab my piece of paper that I wrote down things I've been listening to. So go ahead.
So the couple things, and I have like a few go-tos, and actually one of the things that we might have to share on Spotify or something down the road is I had created, and I still sort of curate it over the course of my lifetime, an Amazon playlist of all the music that I used to play when I worked at the X. And I know that sounds really nostalgic, weird, but it's some of my still favorite music. So I listen to that a lot, like when I'm doing dishes or when I'm just like making dinner or something. And because then it makes my kids listen to really good music instead of like the Lego movie soundtrack or something, which isn't bad, but you don't want to hear it all the time. So I listen to that a lot, and it's got like, everything from Soul Coughing, Jets to Brazil. It like runs the gamut. A little bit of like,
Jets to Brazil. I haven't listened to them in a long time.
Yeah, and some of those. There are two albums. I think Perfecting Loneliness might have been. I don't know the names of the albums. I don't have them from memory, but some of the songs on one of those albums is like every track is a keeper. But like Toadies, Possum Kingdom, and Pixies, and just stuff like that makes you think, oh, I remember playing this, or I remember hearing this for the first time because I worked at this station. And that's one of my go-tos. But as far as like new music goes, I've been listening to the Kings of Leon. Haven't put out a new album since like 2016, I think, and they have a new one coming out in March. And they've released 2 tracks so far. One of them is called The Bandit, and one of them is called like 100,000 People or something like that. But Kings of Leon.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Kings of Leon, they did the Sex is on Fire song, right?
Yep.
That's
yes.
Okay.
And they have a strange history, because there are some people, there's a small amount of controversy, because Kings of Leon, when they first came out, they were really kind of goofy and sort of like a jingle jangle band that was almost twangy, but they were just like a goof. You can listen to their progression, and that's something that I find really interesting. Like, one part of me likes when a band is just what they are, and that's because you like them and that's what they are. And then there are other bands who, over the course of debut album to 5th, 6th, whatever album, they have an evolution. And people who loved Kings of Leon when they first came out, kind of, the rumblings of, oh, they sold out. Now they play arenas and stadiums and their sound is accessible, and who wants that? And I've just liked them from the beginning, and I've liked the evolution, but they're turning into sort of one of those slow burn rock anthem bands that, like, not all their songs are rocking, but they have that slow build and that driving drum and that driving guitar, and their songs like Sex on Fire. That song, it's not like super rocking, but it's got that oomph to it, and you
It's
go on that
catchy.
journey with them. Yeah, and it's catchy. So anyway, the Bandit is one of their first singles on the new album, and it's pretty good, and it's coming out in March, and I'm probably going to buy it and on a CD. That's right, on a CD. So
Why don't you just buy it on vinyl there, Papa?
I'm gonna see if they have a film strip version, and I'm gonna project it up on my wall. And that's how I will listen to my music. But no, so if I do buy the CD, then I'll take a picture of it and we can put it up on Instagram so people see that CDs.
So people see what a CD looks like.
Yeah, but it's a good song. Bandit is the one I would recommend. 100,000 People, I think, was the other single they released, and it's good, but not as good. If you're looking for the best song by Kings of Leon, if you're new to the band, I recommend you Google or download or whatever the song Fans. It is awesome. It's my favorite Kings of Leon song. So if you haven't heard from them, that's a good one from their later music. And then actually, one more thing, the new AC/DC,
Okay.
Realize. Have you heard that yet?
Have I heard that yet?
I mean, you've
Do you
heard.
know who you're talking to?
I know. I like it.
I've
I mean,
heard. I've heard the
does,
song.
it does sound like all their other music, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a great song. Keep writing it.
And when you think of the fact that Brian Johnson's like in his mid 70s,
And he has like bionic ears now.
He still sounds like Brian Johnson in his whatever 30s or 40s, whenever he started with them. That says something. So yeah, that's the stuff that I'm listening to now.
Greatest comeback album of all time, Back in Black, written by AC/DC. Brian Johnson came in to sing after Bon Scott died.
Right.
Everybody thought, oh, they're done. They're done. Greatest comeback album ever is Back in Black from
you are
all the way in 1980.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, the new AC/DC is good. I can get on board with that. But I have a Kings of Leon story.
Oh.
I'll be completely honest, not a huge fan.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't dislike them, but I'm not like, ooh, Kings of Leon. I got to check that out. But I probably will, since you said it's good, and I respect your opinion. I'll give it a listen.
Nice.
Probably on digital streams, not on CDs, because it's 2021. Yeah, whatever. But I believe Kings of Leon are the band that famously canceled a show because a bird pooped in one of their band members' mouths on stage.
Oh, I think I would too. I mean,
yeah,
I would like to think I would just swish around with some water, but I would probably do that too.
The Rolling Stones would have never done that. They would have taken a shot of Jack, swished it around, spit it out, and went on with the show. Because that's what rock stars do.
You're right.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain, though, that is the band that walked off stage because a bird pooped in the. It was like the bass player, guitar player's mouth.
They did not do that during the show I saw. Thank goodness. Maybe they stopped having performing birds fly around the stage.
I've only seen one group that actually walked off stage and didn't finish their show.
Guns N' Roses?
His name? No. Never saw them. Actually, it wasn't a group. It was a singer-songwriter. His name was Todd Snyder. My sister and I went for my birthday here in Saginaw, and he was totally blown out, higher than a kite. He was messed up. He was still doing good, though. He was holding it together on stage until somebody said something, and he just is like, I'm done. And he got up and walked off. We thought it was part of the act. We kind of stood around, and he just never came back. And my sister and I are like, this is a first. This has never happened to us before.
Yeah, wow.
If you don't know who he is, you've probably heard the song BEERRUN, Beer Run.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's him. That's the guy.
Wow.
So now that I've interrupted you, what else is going on? We listening to anything else? Watching anything that we should maybe go take a look at?
You know what, Mindy and I are kind of.
I'm looking at your notes. I just want to see if you remember what you wrote down in your notes.
Oh, yeah, my notes are complete bullshit.
Oh no, but this first thing is great because I totally want to know about this. It says goat husbandry how to on YouTube. I have
So,
so
yeah.
many questions, but I'm going to let you talk about it.
So, the breeding, raising of goats, you can watch those videos on YouTube, I imagine. I haven't
You
actually.
imagine, right? It's cool.
And I
I
think
get it.
I closed my list, but I think the other thing I wrote was something about Stephen Hawking, wasn't it?
Stephen Hawking singing "Video Killed the Radio Star." Haven't checked it out, but I'm going to. Love both of those things, Stephen Hawking and that song.
If that exists, I'm gonna love it too. I just made it up, buddy.
Oh, you made it up.
Yeah.
Well, I hopefully you have just dreamed it into fruition and it'll just show up
That would
on
be
the YouTubes
fantastic.
when I go look at it.
That would be fantastic if that is something.
Okay, so I thought
The
that was
problem
real,
with
but
us
it
sharing a
better
Google
be.
document. That's the problem with us sharing a Google document is I was just like, all right, I guess I got to put some stuff in here. And I just started typing some stuff.
No, I like it. Lie to me.
If anyone out there knows how to use some sort of editing software, please make that happen. Stephen Hawking singing "Video Killed the Radio Star."
I work with a bunch of folks who know how to do that. I'm going to see what I can do
Nice.
about getting that to happen.
Beautiful. So what have you been listening to?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So
I was obligated to.
You are not getting paid to ask me that question. You know this because you and I talk quite a bit. I've been listening to podcasts like crazy. It's what I listen to.
Yep.
I think it's because growing up, I was actually a talk radio fan, and now it's an extension of talk radio.
Yep.
But what I've been listening to the most this week, these are pretty much probably my 3 favorite podcasts as of right now. This will change next time, but as of right now, Going Off Track. I love that podcast.
All right.
They call it a more than music podcast, but it's a dude out of New Jersey, Benny Horowitz, the former drummer of the Gaslight Anthem.
Okay.
And his co-host Brad, who I cannot remember his last name, but he was the guitar player of the Goops. He's actually the producer of it. They interview people every week, and it's a fun music podcast to listen to because he knows all these folks or many of these folks, and he's toured with a lot of them, so they have a lot of good stories, and it's kind of right in the wheelhouse of what I'd been listening to throughout the 2000s. So I'm like, oh, like this week he was interviewing Dave and Tim House. Dave House was Hoss, I think is how you say it, was the former guitar player and lead singer of the band from Philadelphia, the Loved Ones. And then he went solo. So yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
It's very entertaining. I listen to it, and it's a new guest every week, but that's what I was listening to this week. That one, Stuff They Don't Want You to Know, because I'm a huge conspiracy theorist.
Yep.
Not like the QAnon crazy, not like that stuff. I don't believe
the one. That's the one that you told me about a while back, right? Because I think I listened to a few episodes of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Matt, Ben, and Noel. I love because there's a lot of it. They get into some serious stuff, but they cover a lot of like I guess I would say the fun side of some conspiracy stuff.
Like lizard people.
That's been in there. Yeah. They've talked about David Icke, who's the big pusher of the lizard people stuff.
Yeah.
It's just been very entertaining, especially they kind of did some stuff on the Capitol riots, which we're not going to get into.
No.
And they've done some stuff like the big one of my favorite ones they did, and it's an older one, was they did a podcast about the disappearance of Elisa Lam at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, which is actually on Ghost Adventures not too long ago. So I hate to say it's fun because a woman died, but they do a fun conspiracy podcast, but it's pretty good too. Like you can tell they put time into it, and they put effort.
That's definitely one you told me about it, and I listened to a few episodes, so I would recommend that one as well.
And then the other one I just finished, and it is awesome. I totally recommend it. It's called Winds of Change, about the conspiracy theory that the CIA wrote the Scorpion song Wind of Change.
I have to hear this one. You told me about this a couple weeks ago or last week, and I was thinking about it all night. Like, this is the weirdest thing. And then I started thinking about, like, I actually was thinking about other songs and their lyrics and thinking, could this be about like the KGB or something? It stuck with me. I haven't listened to that podcast yet, but that is such a cool. Even
And
though I'm
and
not a conspiracy theory guy, I totally want to hear what they have to say about it.
the host of it makes the most excellent case for it to be real. And one of my favorite quotes is he interviewed a bunch of CIA people for it, and one of my favorite quotes from one of the CIA folks is, "Well, it's just so crazy it could be true."
That's true. Yeah.
I'm like, well, if that's how you judge it. But I mean, it's very well put together. I recommend listening to it. Musically, I've been listening to the new stuff from Laura Jane Grace. Specifically the swimming pool song. I don't know. It's really good. It's short. Laura Jane Grace used to be the lead singer of Against Me. Laura Jane Grace used to be I can't remember. He transitioned into a woman.
Okay.
So she now sings and she sings under Laura Jane Grace. She's still the lead singer of Against Me, but she also does solo stuff, and I like the band Against Me, and I like her solo stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, she just released an album. It didn't get very good reviews in some of the stuff I read, but what I've listened to, I'm like, what do reviewers know? I think it's good.
Right.
And then the other thing I've been listening to, because kind of like you have your playlist of stuff you used to play.
Right.
Well, I've been working on putting together playlists to put on Spotify, and I was like, okay, I should do like from every year that I worked in radio, I'm going to do like a metal playlist from that year. So I've been listening to metal songs from 1996.
Wow.
Just some examples are bands like Stuck Mojo, Neurosis, and Sepultura.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been listening to. And I finished watching The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
You must have binged that, because didn't they just come out with the new season like 2 days ago?
No, the new season came out at the beginning of the year, I believe. But we did binge it. Like Amy and I watched like 4 episodes, and then we watched 4 episodes and we were done.
Yeah, we're doing that with Alias. We started that whole season, that series, all over from the beginning.
That new show, Alias. All right.
You know, that brand new show that all the kids are talking about. It's called ER.
We should really, if you can remember, this is all right. We're going to end this episode, but I got to remind you of this.
Eventually.
Do you remember the first time you and I worked together at the X?
Was it when we hosted the Man Bid?
It is. Yes, you do remember.
Yeah, I do remember, because you were Spike Chiquette and I was the Man Bid. Or was it the other way around?
Yes. No, I was Spike Chiquette and you were the Man Bid, because we were filling in for Spike Chiquette, who hosts the Mid-Afternoon Neighbors Breakdown. And let's just say, arguably, we weren't all friends.
We weren't enemies.
We weren't enemies. I would say
some friendly mocking.
At that point in time, you could have called us frenemies.
There you go. That's because anyone at the radio station, we were, socially.
Yeah, we were cool with them. Everybody was cool to each other. There was some,
I think what happened was he couldn't make it for a show, and we were like just hanging out in the studio. We were just there not together, but we were there because
it was like, you want to do this?
You could either be in class or you could be hanging out at the radio station.
So we were at the radio station.
And someone says, hey, there's this show happening like right now. Can any of you guys stay and do it? And we were both like, yeah, we'll do it. Right? Isn't that pretty much how it worked?
Yeah. And then we got on, instead of using our regular radio names, I was just like, hey, everybody, I'm Spike Chiquette. And you're like, I'm the Man Bid. And we just tore into it. We were talking about all that new music. Like, hey, did you hear that latest Back in Black from AC/DC? And we played it straight serious.
Oh, yes. I remember.
Like, we just kept pulling out all these old songs and talking about how this is going to be a huge hit. It's this new thing.
He played a lot of new music, right? He talked about, so this is the thing, and we should have him on, because I know that we
will at some point. Yeah.
He's a good guy, but
he was there the whole time we were there. So it would be,
he was really good at knowing a lot of facts and about upcoming artists and stuff. Wasn't that what it was? Like,
and
he would name people we hadn't never heard of or something.
Yeah, and he would cover like specific genres.
Yeah.
he was big into, there was like a big push of like Christian ska and Christian punk
Yeah,
and just like Christian college rock in general. And it was, I hate to say Christian because people are like, oh, Christian. And no, it was actually good music. It was
sure.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Message,
Mhm.
the message is, I mean, it was still good.
Yeah.
And he was always like, this is the new stuff from Five Iron Frenzy, or this is the new stuff. And he would go through all these facts. Well, you and I didn't know any of that.
No, we
So
didn't know anything, so we said
we
facts about
definitely knew about David Bryan from Bon Jovi. So we would talk about the new Bon Jovi album,
uh,
Slippery When Wet.
that was a blast.
And
That was a blast.
it probably ended up being sounding, from the outsider's view, sounding super mean.
Or
But
just or nonsense. I mean,
it was just, if you knew, it was ridiculous. And that was the first time you and I worked together on the air.
Yeah.
And then we started playing PlayStation 1 games and
Yep,
eating
the rest
frozen
is
pizza every night, and the rest is history.
You just had
So
so
there you
many.
go, folks. Matt and I's relationship is just based on being ridiculous all
Yep,
the time.
yep. I like
It's
it.
worked since 1996. What are you going to do?
Worked since 1996.
It's complicated.
Perfect.
So there you go. I think that was, I think we put together a pretty good episode.
All right, so we do have to say a few things. Once again, as we tell you every episode, please, if you listen to the show and you like it, leave a review. I want to thank Ben from Michigan, who left a nice review on, I think it was on Podcast Addicts. That was where he downloads. So if you, it doesn't have to. What's that?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
It doesn't have to be paragraphs. It doesn't have to be like a whole big thing, but just say, hey, I listened, I liked it, here's why, or here's something that you guys did cool, or something you could maybe try doing differently. And because that's good for us to see. And it also, gets more people to listen because they see those reviews and say, oh, I'll give that a chance. So definitely leave a review if you can.
I'll even take it to this step.
Yeah.
You don't even have to leave a nice review. Just give us 5 stars.
There you go.
You can say, you guys are terrible. You should go to bed instead of doing a podcast at 10:30 at night.
5 stars.
But here's 5 stars.
Yeah, I like that. I'm fine with that too.
I don't care.
So
just give us 5 stars and then tell us how you feel.
Make us feel horrible about ourselves, but 5 stars. That's a good compromise. Yeah. If you hate it, 5 stars, and tell us all the things you hated about it.
Yeah.
Follow us on the Twitter, Instagram. Keep an eye out for the website, which is a work in progress. What we're going to ultimately do is we're going to have, the things we talk about, like when Stephen Hawking sings "Video Killed the Radio Star." We're going to put that up on the website so people can actually see if it exists. You'll have a one-stop shop. So that's coming up. The Facebook, like us and friend us. Do you friend on Facebook? Friend us on Facebook.
Why not?
And yeah, we really appreciate everybody who tunes in. Next week. Wait a minute. Next episode, we have the Doc of Rock.
Yep.
We're going to be talking with him. He's very excited, and
I'm pretty excited. I haven't talked to him in a while, so it's going to be nice.
Me too. We haven't talked since we did our reunion
March.
show.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It'll be nice to hear from him and hear his side of how he got into college radio and where he is now. And he already came up with his list of music, so it'll be cool to pick his brain about why he picked the songs he picked. And then more to come as far as interviews from people that we used to work with and people that we didn't used to work with who worked at the WUPX broadcast.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Well, as always, I am Matt.
And I'm Jayce. And that's Matt in the corner.
That's Jayce in the spotlight. And we're losing our religion.
See you next time on xRadiox.